time now for Coming In Hot with Brent Wallace and former Ottawa Senator Jason York.
Welcome. Good Friday morning to everybody. I guess it's noon now, so it's no longer the morning. Hold on a sec. I got an echo in my... I've got the echo coming in from the YouTube chat. Sorry, guys. I'm an amateur.
You got the chat going?
Yeah, good Friday. Yeah, I just wanted to check in the chat, and obviously it starts prompting. I have to mute the YouTube. But good Friday afternoon to everyone. My name is Graham Nichols. I'm joined, as always, by the best Ottawa Senator to ever wear the number 33, who isn't Nick Madden pal, Jason York. How are you?
Thanks. I'll take it. I'll take that, Graham. You have a late night last night?
Yeah, it was at work. We watched it. We watched as much of the game as we could, obviously, given the context.
Yeah.
But it was probably the most entertaining hockey game I've watched in a very long time.
So lay it out for me. How does it work down at the fire hall? Like, what's the setup like down there? You guys got a big screen? Is there like somebody making food? Like
inside? So yeah, like we always cook our own food throughout the course of the day, like lunch.
Yeah.
Dinner. But dinner was probably done by 7. We had like an hour just to burn. We're just waiting. Anticipation's building for the game, and then we watched as much of the game as we could. We got a few calls during the game, but we watched as much of it as we could, and then we stayed up and watched it in overtime, and happy endings.
Crazy.
But before talking about last night's game, I just want to say off the top, this show is presented to you by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365, and we also have Charm Diamond Centers is proudly Canadian owned and operated since 1972 with more than 85 locations across the country through Charm and their sister brands. Get custom ring building delivered in less than 4 weeks with the Charm Masterpiece program and an unbeatable pricing policy. Check out a large selection of Canadian lab-grown diamonds, Mine Diamonds. Don't pay until 2026. Apply for a Charm Diamond Flexity card today and get approved for no interest financing on your purchase in minutes. For more information, go to charmdiamondcenters.com. Chosen forever, Charm Diamond Centers.
Well, did you guys happen to take down a Gabriel pizza last night, Graham, during the game? You guys order in, so we might as well.
No, we didn't. We didn't do the takeout last night. We did like a red chicken curry for dinner, so we kept that relatively healthy.
I hammered
pizza would have been good.
Pizza.
Gabriel's pizza would have been good.
Yeah, I hammered some pizza down from Gabe's last night. A little chicken and pineapple. I'm not afraid to say it. I know there's some chicken and pineapple haters out there, but I'm a pineapple guy. So that's our other sponsor. I'd like to thank Gabe's, the official pizza of the Ottawa Senators, and Coming In Hot. You can download that Gabriel Pizza app, earn points with every purchase on the app, and get access to exclusive deals from Gabriel Pizza Perks. Order Gabriel Pizza online at GabrielPizza.com. Check out their menu because they have plenty more than just pizza. They got pasta, dinners, salads, burgers, and breakfast. And don't forget the Sens Score 4 deal. I love that deal, Graham. When the Sens score 4, you save more. With Gabriel's Pizza, download the pizza app and save 40% on any 9-inch pizza of the day after your Ottawa Senators score 4.
So huge game last night, Yorkie.
Huge. It was.
Were you nervous at all?
No, it's not that I don't care who wins or loses. Like when I watch, how do I explain this without people like saying, I hate Canada? When I watch hockey, like I can't. So number one, I always watch the D because I'm a defenseman, and I love watching really good hockey. And that's why coming into this tournament, I was skeptical because I was like, okay, how hard are these guys really going to play with? Well, because now you're seeing it, right? Now guys are trickling back to their teams, and it's like, oh shit, this guy's hurt, and that guy's hurt, and this guy's going to miss time. Is Brady going to play Saturday? So there is that effect. But I had a chat with one of my buddies about this, Graham. I was watching the game. It's almost like just pride takes over, right? Anytime, and especially when you put on the Canadian jersey, the U.S. guys put on the U.S. jerseys, and best on best. It's like, I'm going to prove I'm better than you. And then I'm going to prove my country is better than you, and that whole thing. And then it just turns into something magical. And I think that's what happened in this tournament. But when I watch it, I just watch certain players. Like I can't keep my eyes off Cale Makar. When you watch it, there's so much to do and to like when you watch him play. Then I started watching Slavin, and I'm watching Sanderson, and I just love to see players operating best on best, having to think the game so fast. And the great thing about last night's game, like, there's no bullshit after the whistles. Guys are just playing hard, and I love when the refs just let you play. And the players are smart enough too. Like they were getting away with a few more things, but they weren't taking liberties. They were finishing hard. There was no fights after a hard hit. It was just hockey the way it was meant to be played. So was I nervous? Not really. Like because here's the thing, if the US would have won, does it really mean US is better than Canada? No. And Canada won. Does it mean, it just means on that particular night, Canada was better. They were, and I'll tell you the truth, and people might not like this, what I'm about to say. I thought the US outplayed them in overtime, Graham. I really,
for sure. Absolutely.
I thought they really outplayed them. And it's kind of ironic because at the end of the day, and I know you got a funny story about the fire hall with some of your buddies about this. At the end of the day, it was the player that everybody was most worried about, everybody criticized, everybody shit on that saved the day for Team Canada. It was Binnington. Like he was unreal in overtime. And I'm really happy for him because he had a ton of pressure on him, a ton. And I thought he really answered the bell. And man, oh man, if it wasn't for him, US wins that game in overtime. I'm sorry. They had so many better chances than Canada. But hey, all you need is one, and the right guy for Canada got the puck on his stick, and the rest is history. But that's what's so great about these games. It's just so much drama, and it's the best going against the best, and that's why it makes it such a spectacle to watch.
Yeah, I found the Binnington story just throughout the course of the game. Like you're watching the game, and like the fire hall story is like I'm watching the game with two colleagues who aren't hockey fans whatsoever, but because of the stakes, the geopolitical stuff going on. I want to tune in. Watch this. This is best on best. They have to watch. And Binnington, there was one sharp angle save. I think it was like in the second period or something, and he wound up in his net. Like there's no reason for him to be in his net, but it was like he was just in his net like that. My colleague says, "Who the hell is this guy? Is this the best? Is this the best that we could get for this tournament?" And I just thought it was funny. And then, like you said, like for him to come in overtime and play like throughout the course of the game and in regulation time, it's just you're nervous every shot that's facing him. And then in overtime, he just like flips the switch. He stones Austin Matthews right in the slide with his blocker, huge save, and then he makes an unbelievable stretch and glove save to rob Brady Tkachuk with an open cage. It was unbelievable, and I thought his play warranted first star. Like just the narrative and performance in overtime.
Well,
like, it was incredible to watch. It was a great story.
Yeah. Well, it's how the three stars is always picked wrongly, but in this case, you have to give it. Like I get it, Connor winning goal, but you did the numbers on the game, and it's interesting because that's the thing about great players, like generational players. When they have a chance, they make it count, and that's why they are who they are. But throughout that game, it was such tight checking, and I know on the broadcast they were talking about this, but I'll just reiterate it. That's the type of game where there's not a lot of space, there's not a lot of free ice, people are on you, and I'll give full marks to US's defense. They did a really good job on McDavid, especially Slavin. My oh my, that guy's the best defender in the National Hockey League, and I'll say this: what an experience it is for young Jake Sanderson to play with Slavin, to watch how he plays. And Travis Green talked about this when he got interviewed just the other day. He's going to pick up habits. He's going to pick up tips, and he's going to pick up so many things from playing with a guy like that. So it's going to help him along. But I was really impressed with Slavin, Sanderson, their D. Like it's not many times where McDavid doesn't look fast, but he didn't look, and it's not just him. It was that type of game, right? There just wasn't a lot of open space. But I for me personally, I thought Cal McCarr was the best player on the ice for Canada. He was very good. He was the best player on the ice for Canada, and he played 28 minutes. 28 minutes against some of the best players in the world. Same with Slavin, 28 minutes as well. That's pretty impressive in a situation like that. Yeah,
and to your point, when McDavid was on the ice, Canada only generated 45% of the total shots, 28% of the shots on goal. So the United States did a fantastic job of just matching speed on speed and just kind of like keeping them reined in.
It was, they game planned really well. But you got to give Canada, like Jack Eichel. like, my God, is this guy really? Remember, I had Sean McHuckern on the day talking about Eichel, how impressed he is with Eichel's 200-foot game. He was matched up a lot against McKinnon and McDavid, and he did a really good job neutralizing them. And it's one of those games, right? It's just, there's not a lot of room.
It's just his back pressure was unbelievable. Like he was coming back hard every shift.
Yeah.
You know, for a guy whose reputation was kind of dogged a little bit coming out of Buffalo, like he's turned the narrative around on him like 180 degrees. It's unbelievable. But he was fantastic last night.
But it was the end of the day too. It's always the same. NHL playoffs, best on best. It's those unheralded guys that make such a difference. And I got to talk about Sam Bennett. Like, this guy, he's going to get paid. Is he? I believe he's up after this year, is he?
Yep.
I think he's up. He's only 28, turning 29.
I was thinking about you. I was thinking about you when he scored, because like Marner cut in from the left side, drew Adam Fox over, slides the pass right past Fox.
Foxy.
Bennett just finished it. And after the conversation the other day on Tuesday, where you were talking about Fox and the pace of the play and everything else, I thought like, oh, that's a talking point for sure. That's a talking point for sure on Friday.
Ottawa Senators will like this. Like Jake Sanderson, he'll have to keep playing at the same level he's playing at now with Ottawa. Like, keep it up into the Olympics. But the biggest indicator on who you trust as a player is ice time. And it's amazing. Sanderson came into this tournament, was called in late, and I knew it. He's going to surpass Fox on the depth chart, because until you've coached a guy, until you've been on the bench and watched him and seen him up close, see the habits, see how he skates, see how he defends, you're just going off reputation and what you've seen. Because these coaches watch, Graham, they watch so much video. So they've heard about Jake Sanderson. They're not sure what they're going to get. He comes into town. They're like, I'll tell you what they're thinking. Like, holy shit, this guy can defend. All of a sudden, they started trusting him in situations more than an Adam Fox. And you saw it in overtime. Like, Sanderson's ice time was going up, up, and up. Fox's was coming down. And no disrespect to Fox. He's a great player. But the point I was making the other day was they already have offensive guys. Like, Werenski's one of the best offensive D in the league. So you don't really need Fox to run your power play. So who would you rather have if you're US? Two-way defender that can skate and shut down guys? Well, that's Jake Sanderson. He's just a shorter version of Jacob Slavin that can skate better. Anyways, it was, I wasn't surprised by that. And good for Sanderson, because like I said, when he comes back to Ottawa, his confidence, not that it wasn't high before, Graham, it's going to be at an all-time high now. It's going to pay huge dividends for him and the Senators.
Yeah, I think from like a local perspective, I like, you couldn't have asked for a better night. Like, Canada wins, Brady Tkachuk scores, Jake Sanderson scores. They both played phenomenal games, and you could, like, what else? What more could you ask for? Like, Brady Tkachuk led the team and with 5 shots, 5 hits, or tied for the team lead in both categories. Jake Sanderson 5 block shots, team lead. It was probably the best outcome that you could have asked for, just from a local perspective.
Yeah. And I think for Tkachuk, it's everybody kind of knows about. People in the hockey world know about Tkachuk, like people that play against him, scouts, people that do run numbers, people that watch. But I think as far as like a world stage goes, I haven't seen the numbers yet, but I have to imagine the ratings were through the roof for that game. And Tkachuk brought it every single game. Like, you could make an argument as far as popularity goes in the NHL. He's pretty close to being one of the most popular figures in the game right now, based on what he did in that tournament. And based on, just imagine if Ottawa gets into the playoffs. There's a preview of what Tkachuk, what I like to call playoff Brady, is going to be like. It was absolutely impressive. The emotion, the energy, the big game moments. And even the goal he scored, Graham, you can't handle this. You can't handle this guy around tight spaces, finishing shit. Like, how many guys did he run through the boards? It was crazy.
Oh, the hit on Doughty was unbelievable. Just unbelievable. But like, he's a unicorn, right? Like, he's got that unique blend of skill and physicality. And like, I know, like Slavkovsky from Montreal talked about how he has to start modeling his game after Brady. And,
I heard that. Yeah.
There's like that dynamic, but it's like, if it was that easy, more people would do it. It's like, you want to model your game after him, absolutely. But I think like he has such a unique skill set and talent set that not everybody can do it. If they did, there'd be more of them. There'd be more people like Brady in the league, and there just aren't. It's what makes him special and differentiates him from everyone else.
It's almost like to your point, yeah, for sure, guys say I want to play like that, but you either have that in you or you don't. It's like when I used to coach junior hockey, we'd always joke around where we had some kids where we'd have to plead with them to be mean and to play hard and say, hockey's a mean game. You got to finish hard. So you either kind of have that in you or you don't. It's something, can you teach it? Well, you can encourage it. And can Slafkovsky do that? Wow. I don't really think he's that type of player. He's got the body, he's got the makeup, but how many guys in the league really have that ferocity in them? And I'll take you back to when I played. I'll just name some guys: Rick Tocchet, Scott Mellenby, Keith Tkachuk. Like when you played against those guys, you had to be aware every single shift. And that's Brady. If when you're on the ice, you got to know where he is if you're a defenseman, because if you don't, you can get hurt. And I don't know how many other guys in the league are like that right now. Tom Wilson, Brady Tkachuk. I'd be surprised though. With Tom Wilson, I know he's a little bit older. Of all the guys, when I'm watching that game against US, I'm watching like Tom Wilson could help out there. Mm-hmm. The one thing I thought the team was kind of lacking a little bit, and that's why I thought Sam Bennett was so effective. Like he brought physicality and some skill. And I thought the roster lacked a little bit of that, because not as much
snarl. Yeah.
Well, not as like the Americans just seem to have a little more bite in their lineup. And I would have liked to have seen one more guy like a Tom Wilson that can play that type of game. It's just in those types of games, it's so effective and it's so advantageous to have. Look at Bennett. Like Bennett's that guy. Like but like you said, it's tough. There's just not many of those guys around anymore.
No, and like you played with Jarrah, like it's almost reminiscent of it, right? Like it's everybody wants that big punishing guy. You see guys like Boris Zalabik and stuff get drafted because they're huge defensemen who should be able to model themselves after that. And it's like, I think what you have to understand is you can't replicate that. You can't. I 100% agree with you. You either have it or you don't, and it's not something you can necessarily coach in the players.
No, it's tough. But we'll see. I'm just hoping when Tkachuk comes back, he's not dealing with any nagging things, because he left it all on the ice out there. And he look at his poor brother Matthew. He dressed. You knew he wasn't going to finish that game, so he'll be going back to Florida, and who knows how long he's going to be out there. But I'm just hoping this is a huge game for Ottawa Saturday against Montreal, and Tkachuk usually has a lot of success against Montreal. So you're wondering, after being way up here playing at that level, not the NHL is not a high level, but the emotions from that game, Graham, like he's going to have to, hopefully he's getting some rest, some much needed rest today, get the good sleep. Well-deserved rest. Yeah, but he's got time to bounce back. But I'm just hoping he doesn't have anything lingering, because they got some huge games coming up.
I should let listeners know as well. Nick Jensen is scheduled to join the program a little bit later on. The Senators are practicing actually right now. They should be finishing up quite soon, actually. But before we talk about Saturday's game and what's going on at practice this morning, I just want to say that Coming in Hot is proudly presented by presenting partner Bet365. Open account today with Bet365 and bet on a huge range of markets. Use code NATION. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 or older to play. Please play responsibly. Ontario only. Download the app today.
I was tempted to bet online. I don't bet a lot, Graham. I was going to throw something down on last night's game.
What were you considering?
I don't know. At first I thought US, just because but then I started thinking about Hellebuck, and everybody kept saying, oh, there's just a huge advantage in net for US because of Hellebuck over Binnington. And I'm like, Binnington's won before. Hellebuck hasn't won anything. So like, I just remember, and Hellebuck is a great goalie. He's having an unbelievable season, but I just thought I would have bet on Canada if it got down to it. I would have put some money on Canada, but I just thought the criticism for Binnington, I know he let some goals in early in those games, but if you look at how he's played when the pressure's on versus Hellebuck, when like I don't. There's going to be a lot of pressure on Hellebuyck this year when Winnipeg gets into the playoffs because he's yet to have a playoff where he's carried his team. And it's not all on him. But I'm just saying Bennington has done more in his career postseason than Hellebuyck has.
Yeah. Oh, it's true. It's true. I was also thinking about that kind of a little bit when Marner made that pass out front to McDavid and Austin Matthews left McDavid. Yeah. But like Austin Matthews just peeled off and kind of went towards Marner, even though he was covered already. Like he had like the 2-man advantage and it freed up space for McDavid and then he buried it.
Crazy,
that guy time and space in the slot, but like that's just another dent in the armor for Austin Matthews. Similar kind of circumstances, big game moments, and just a mental mistake that just cost him untimely.
Losing coverage for a moment, but that was a hell of a pass. But Marner made 2 huge plays in that game. That pass. But what he does really well? He's just got great little change of speed and deception moves. That little cheeky play to Bennett for that goal, that was such a smart, shifty play. He brought a nice little change of pace to when they put him with McDavid, because McDavid's going a million miles an hour. And then you got a guy that kind of slows it down a little bit. I know it didn't work in the earlier games, but good on John Cooper for doing an in-game adjustment, mixing it up and saying, you know what? I got a gut feeling that Marner is going to do something here, and it was pretty good gut feeling.
Yeah, I think they cut Mark Stone's ice time considerably as the game went on. I don't know if it's just a product of the speed that the guys were playing at and concerns about Stone's foot speed, but yeah, that was one of the changes they made, and it worked out to their benefit.
Yeah, and I didn't think Stone hurt Canada at all. They just weren't generating enough offense, and it's sometimes kind of tricky, Graham, to find. As good as McDavid is, he's going so fast, and he's got a huge unpredictability factor about him. Right? He's very unpredictable. That's why he burns defensemen so much. But when the guy's that unpredictable, it's sometimes tough for guys to play with him. And Stone plays a very predictable game. It's like high percentage hockey. Puck goes in good spots. He's always up high. He's a great 200-foot player. He's great at keepaways. So just don't know if those styles really gelled well together. And you heard people talking about should have Hyman have been on the team. So I don't know. At the end of the day, okay, listen, Canada won. Yeah, there's always little things you can change here and there, but like I said, the only thing I might do a little different if I'm Canada is bring a little more physicality to the team, because basically next time you go at this, you're playing to build a team. You're putting a team to beat US, right? And you know what US is going to do. So I would bring a little more meat to the party if it was me picking it.
Oh, for sure. I just love to see like a best of 5 series. Like I know everyone's talking about how the 4 Nations face off was a successful event and everything else, but I mean, like,
you want to see a best of 5?
If you had Sweden or Finland in the final against the US or Canada, like it wouldn't have that same level of excitement, right? Like you need the Canadians, you need the Americans, and both teams have just so much true talent, preeminent names, and talents on their rosters. It's just like, do a best of 5, let them go, and it'd be must watch every night. Would be must watch. Fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know. I listen. I love best of 7, best of 5 in the NHL. It's great, but I kind of like the one game. It's winner take all, because first of all, I don't think their bodies could survive a best of 5 going at that speed. Like I said, Slavin and McCarr played 28 minutes.
Yeah.
Best of 5. It's like, just look at what the NHL playoffs do to you. When you see guys after they lift the cup, like they look like they've come out of like a starvation camp. They've got like the hobo beards going. They're all skinny. They got skeletal faces. So yeah, I don't know. I like the one-off, kind of like they do in football.
Yeah, fair enough. That's a good point. Also want to say, Sobeys is also a proud sponsor of the program. Think you know hockey? Play Sobeys, my NHL picks weekly for the chance to win big prizes. A new slate of games opens up every Thursday from now until the end of the regular season, so download the Sobeys app, pick the winners of 5 NHL games, and compete for your chance to win prizes such as Sobeys grocery offers up to 150,000 scene points, or the grand prize of a trip for 4 to this year's Stanley Cup Finals. And Yorkie Royale, just a reminder, before I forget, just a reminder that everyone still has a chance to check out the wonderful sculpture done by renowned Canadian artist Brady Tkachuk at TD Place in Lansdowne. The piece, entitled The Inaugural Six, was commissioned by leading Canadian household brand Royale. We're also one of the PWHL's proud official partners. Brady took hockey sticks from the league's inaugural season to craft a massive piece of art, clocking at 4 feet by 6 feet wide. The Charge play the Montreal Victoire Saturday afternoon at 2 p.m. So if you're in the area or you're going to the game, be sure to check out the structure. Yorkie, you had a chance to go check it out.
Oh, look at that. Yeah. I was, I went down, myself, producer Eric, Elias came in from Toronto, was with the Nation Network. Yeah, we went down there, and I saw pictures of the mask, Graham, but I couldn't believe the size of it. You can see in this pic here. It is really, really well done. Like I've never seen anything done like with that kind of detail to it. And yeah, basically it's, they used in the mask all the sticks from all the ladies who played in that inaugural season. So Brianne Jenner, I think she said her stick was in there, and there's me right there. Took a nice shot with the ladies, but no, it was lots of fun. But that is that was a pretty cool piece of art there, and nice to go down and visit. And I think I think the Charge might have lost last night, eh? So they're I think they might have lost. They're playing Boston. They got one more game against Montreal. But no, very cool. Very good initiative, and lots of fun going down to visit yesterday.
So the Senators are practicing. Just want to get into a couple storylines quickly before Nick Jensen joins us. Stephen Halliday was recently recalled. He was skating on the first line. I don't know if he's going to be a placeholder for Brady, but he was skating with Tim Stützle and Claude Giroux on the first line today. Yeah,
he got big news too. Like I'm sure people can't wait to hear about because this has been the topic du jour every day. The D pairings, Graham. What were the D pairings at practice today?
So JBD was a placeholder with Artem Zub, obviously from Jake Sanderson. But your boy, number 33, Nick Palo, was skating with Tyler Clevin this morning. So it looks like Travis Hammond could be the odd man out, which has been a point of contention for most of the season with Sens fans.
The entire season. Well, I'm really interested to see how Matt and Powell plays moving forward here, because I think he's going to get a big jolt from having played on this best on best series. I think it's going to be great for him, just like it is for Sanderson, for Brady, and also for Allmark. Was Allmark skating today?
He was, yeah.
He
was there.
Okay, good.
Forsberg and Allmark were right there. So
okay, so he just had some kind of flu or something, right?
That's why I went to practice the other day, and he looked fine. Like he talked to the media. Yeah, he seemed like he was his normal self. So I'm assuming he'd be good to go.
What was he talking about? How he's feeling physically now, having done all those practices, gotten a game?
Yeah.
Like anybody ask him, like, what was he saying on that?
Yeah, so he's this level of comfort's a lot better. Like he had the chance to play sparing. Like he didn't start any of the games, obviously, but he had a chance to get into the second game and close it out after Gustafsson pulled himself after he wasn't feeling well. He succumbed to flu symptoms. So yeah, he was just comfortable facing good shots, playing against good players, and he felt more comfortable heading into this break. And he talked about that. And it's, they got 26 games left. I believe, how many games has he played? Like 20, 24, 25 games this year? Like if you told me at the beginning of the season that he would only play 24 half the games right after, like to the Four Nations break, it'd be startling how well this team's doing. It's just, it's really impressive how like guys like Levi Merelainen and Forsberg have stepped up in recent weeks and kind of like carried the load a little bit just to buy them some time and competitiveness.
Well, if you would have told me Ottawa would be sitting where they are right now and Allmark has only played a fraction of the games, I'd say you're nuts. Like there's no way this team would be where they're, based on what we saw last year. Like nobody saw Levi Merelainen coming out and doing what he did.
Yeah.
And people had given up on Forsberg, what was a month or two ago, trade him, waive him. And he's just, he's just stabilized things as well. And just the fact is Ottawa still leading the league in shutouts, Graham.
I believe so.
Like that's unbelievable. Think about where this team was the last few years defensively and giving up the goals they're giving up, never getting a key save. Well, not never, but rarely getting key saves at moments in games when you need them. And it was a train wreck defensively. And it amazes me how this team has now turned into a team that defends so well. They give their goaltender stuff to make some big saves, but for the most part, it's the goalies aren't surprised because the team is playing in a way that makes it more predictable, and predictable is good. Sometimes the games, the scoring chances are few and far between, but that's how this team has to play. So yeah, I'm going to be interested to see what happens early in this game against Montreal, because it's a massive game. Like the standings, we haven't looked at the standings since before the break, but man, oh man, it's going to get fun here now with the game. Every single game is going to be, there's the standings board right there. Every single game is going to be do or die. Like you got a Detroit game coming up.
Columbus, yeah.
You got Columbus coming up, and boy, how about the Boston Bruins? No Charlie McAvoy for a while now, and there you go. It's like that's the thing, right? You go to these tournaments, and you lose.
And that was the nervousness, right? Like everybody is still reeling from like Dominic Hasek going to Turin in 2006, and everyone was like, "Oh God, everybody, please come home healthy." And it seems, knock on wood, that like Brady Tkachuk, Sanderson, and Allmark all made it through, and and Madden Powell, I should say. Should add him as well, but just come back healthy and hopefully build on those experiences, bring some of that momentum back to the organization, and then move forward.
Like, you think, I'll ask you a question: is it worth it to go to a tournament like this? And let's say if you're the Boston Bruins and McAvoy doesn't play the rest of the season, or misses significant time, and Boston misses the playoffs, is it worth it to do for the players?
I think that's a risk, but I mean, there's a risk in every game that you play, right? Like you could be playing the worst team in the league one night, like you could be playing San Jose one night, and someone could get hurt. And it's just the nature of the game. You're playing a physical sport. I think you inherit some of that risk, and that's just the way it goes. And by the end of the season, like you mentioned it earlier in the program, like it's hockey. Like guys are never 100% after the first game of the season anyways. Everybody's dealing with minor nagging injuries, and it's just something that you have to deal with when the sport is this fast and this physical. It's just something that you have to deal with over the course of the season.
What makes it really tough for the players doing something like this is the season's condensed to begin with, right? So you're playing a lot of situations back to backs. You're playing a ton of hockey. So when you get to this break, this Four Nations break, you need it. Your body needs it. Like, so if you're a guy that's been playing a ton, and these are all the best players on their team that have been playing a ton, so they get to this tournament, and then they're playing even harder and more emotional games. That's the only thing I have with this, because I just look at Ottawa. Could you imagine if Tkachuk got hurt? Just think it from an Ottawa perspective, and he missed, let's just say he missed the next month or two. Say, well, that's just what happens.
I know, especially after like Turin, right? Especially after Hasek, you're like, oh man, not again. But
like, it's easy to say it because it's the Boston Bruins and it's McAvoy. Well, it's part of it, right? But just if we put the shoe on Ottawa's foot and say, no captain for the rest of the year, and you're missing the playoffs.
Oh, I know.
Like it's just
but then it's like twice as bad, because like for McAvoy in his instance, right? Like he had an infection, and Boston was like furious with the way that his injury was handled too, right? Like, so there's an extra like layer of or an extra complexity in how it was handled. So it's just, it would be, it's a storyline that you don't need. It's a drama filled storyline that you don't need.
But yeah, it's just like, I'm of two minds. I love the tournament. It was awesome to watch. Best on best it was almost best on. You're missing some guys. You're missing Draisaitl. You're missing some of the best players. But it was as close to you could get the best on best. It's just it would be a shame if you had no Tkachuk. I'm of the camp of no, it's not worth it, because I know the pain Ottawa's been going through from the last 7 years, and if he would have got hurt, here's my answer to your question earlier. Was I nervous about the game? Yeah, I was nervous. A guy like Jake Sanderson or Brady Tkachuk's going to get badly hurt and miss significant time. That's what I was most nervous about. It was funny too when you're watching guys when they got the cup. It's like, it's not the Stanley Cup; it's the Four Nations Cup. Should I lift this up and is this going to be back next year? So is this a one-time thing? And should we skate around with it now?
They had their beers. They had their beers out of it post game back in the dressing room. So.
This tournament to me was more like when you're a kid and you're playing a game of pickup hockey against another group of kids, and you're just playing for keeps. You don't care, and you just want to beat those guys just because you want to beat them because you hate them. It's like that's what I just kept coming back to watch this game. It's just that's what it's that competitive instinct that just comes out in you, and it just turns into there's nobody's making any money, mind you. There's revenue going into the league, but the players, like, they're playing, and it's not like yeah, the Stanley Cup you don't get paid, but you get some bonus money. But there's no bonus money or anything. You're just basically playing for pride and for the Maple Leaf or the U.S. flag, whatever team you're on. And that's what I love about it. Like, it's just you just playing for pride, and it's just great to see.
I am being told that Nick Jensen is in the house. Nick Jensen is here, so let's just bring him in.
Oh.
Hey guys,
Nick,
you got me?
Hey Nick, yeah, absolutely.
We got you, Nick. Hey, thanks for doing this, man. Appreciate it. Graham and I were just talking about the whole Four Nations thing, about the pride and wearing the jersey. And I was checking you out. You played World Championships one year for Team USA, didn't you?
Yeah, I did, over in Denmark.
Yeah. So like, I try to explain this to people. Like, I played Spengler Cup. I played a few things, but what is it when you put on the jersey of your country that just makes you wanna, like, because you're not playing for money. It's something totally different. Like, how do you explain that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's most people probably know it. Like, when you put that jersey on, you know, you're not just representing yourself and your teammates, but like an entire country supporting you. So kind of you got that support and a little bit of that pressure because you're representing them and they want you to do well, you know, on their behalf. And so there's that pressure, but it's also the support that you have of an entire country of hockey fans kind of backing you up and supporting you. So it's a special feeling for sure. And I know those guys felt it.
Yeah.
Nick, what were you doing last night to watch the game? What were you up to?
Well, I was just at home, just by my family's not here right now, so I got to sit down and watch the game. So it was I just tuned in. It was a fun game to watch. It was good hockey. It's great for the game. Like the best guys from both countries going at it like that with an overtime game, and you know, probably a lot of people saw or thought it was part of a script, maybe the way it ended, but you know, I think both sides gave it everything they got, and I thought it was a really cool game to watch, and it was great for the game of hockey as a whole. I think people thought it was a really entertaining tournament.
Was it?
Yeah,
cool
it was.
oh, sorry, Giarki, go ahead.
No, we had old Chesky on, Nick Cousins, last week. Oh, what a beauty he is. And he said, because I'll be honest, Nick, I was a little skeptical with the tournament because I didn't know how it was going to turn out. Like, because it's in the middle of the season, guys are banged up, guys are beat up, and I was like, okay, how hard are guys going to play? And now, like, obviously they freaking played their hearts out. Were you surprised, or is this what exactly you thought would happen?
Yeah, no, I was a little surprised at the beginning. But then when I kind of really thought about it, I mean, once you change the dynamic from, you know, having just a mix of all the best NHL players together, like different guys from different countries on a team, once you go from that to putting all the guys on the same team from the same country, and then all of a sudden they're representing the country, I think that just changes the whole dynamic of it. So I think that's really where, like, it's no longer the mentality of just, all right, we're out here to, you know, kind of like an all-star game, just to entertain the fans, you know, do some shinny style summer hockey. And all, like, instead you put that jersey on, representing a country, you got guys fighting, you know, playing physical, almost a little bit of a playoff mentality type hockey. And that's obviously the most entertaining hockey you can have is the playoff style hockey. So I think they brought an element to that.
How encouraging was it to watch your teammates like Brady Tkachuk and Jake Sanderson step up and perform at such a high level in a game like that last night? Yeah,
extremely proud of those guys. I mean, they went into an environment like that and answered the bell like they did. I thought they, you know, had an amazing tournament, and it's great to see the way they played, and I hope they come back with tons of confidence from the way they played that tournament, and they bring it back with them to this team. So
it was a pretty good for me, because it was kind of almost like playoff hockey, right? And you played playoff hockey, and I almost gave people a preview to what playoff Brady could be like. Like, How would you like to play again? I know you played against him, Nick, but the way he was finishing on forechecks like that, if you guys can get it done and get it into the playoffs, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, you kind of saw a little glimpse of what it can be like for him when he's in those intense situations. And I honestly think we got a lot of guys that are really really itching to get that type of experience. And when I remember playing my first playoff game, it's almost a little bit, it's a heightened feeling where like you really experienced anything like that before. And the excitement and the intensity of it, a lot of guys tend to answer the bell. So I think we got a lot of guys on this team who would be really excited to be in that situation. Brady, one of them, but I think we got a lot of guys that would love to step up in that type of environment.
Hey, Nick, I was talking to Graham about this before you got on, and because it's funny when you go play for different coaches, right? Because they don't really know you. They've watched you on film. They've seen you, but they're usually watching their own guys. Just seemed to me when Jake Sanderson got there, he came in late. It's like the more those D coaches saw him, the more they started to like him and trust him. And then I'm watching that game, and his ice time just kept going up and up and up and up. But were you seeing the same thing with Sanderson's game?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I had a kind of a pretense of, like, I already know Sandy's like an amazing player. So, but yeah, I mean, throughout that tournament, obviously, when you see what he can do, the way he can skate, the way he can transport the puck up the ice, it's not surprising to me that they see that and immediately start to give him, put him in more and more situations. Obviously, there's really good D on that group already. So playing him the way they did kind of shows just the kind of talent that he has and skating ability.
Nick, I just want to ask you, like, you were brought in to partner with Tom Chabot. Like, he hadn't had a stable partner for a few years before you arrived here. And I talked to you briefly about this in training camp, but like, now that you've been here for 50 so games, like how would you say the experience has been this season? Come to a new team, new coach, new players, partner in Chabot. Like, how's the experience been, and how have you enjoyed your time here so far?
Yeah, I think it's been great. I've had a lot of fun, to be completely honest with you, from the start of the season till now. I know there's been some up and downs and some growth, some growing that our team needed to do through that time. But this is some of the funnest hockey I've played in a while. Just with the systems and the guys that I'm playing with on the ice. I think it's been a really good experience for me, and that's the number one thing I've really tried to focus on as my career has gone on, is to make sure, like, you're always doing the things that have gotten you here, the work and all that. But I want to make sure that I'm still enjoying the game and having fun and looking forward to coming to the rink. So that's been a big thing for me this year. And I've really, enjoyed it in that aspect.
With Chabot, Nick, because it just seemed almost from day one when they put you two guys together, you just complemented each other so well. You can skate really well, Chabot. It just seems like playing good defense is you guys don't spend a lot of time in your own zone. Like, you're on breakouts, or it just seems, little reverses, you're there. You guys just read off each other so well. And it just seemed like when you got put with them right away, like, why do you think it just worked so clicked like that for you guys? Because it really seemed to click pretty quickly. And usually, as you know, there's kind of an adjustment period sometimes. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, there are obviously different aspects of it, but Thomas is obviously a very skilled player, great hockey IQ, great skater, great puck handler. So, like, that to begin with, to play with, it makes it easier for me. But the dynamic we have is how we read, like, communication is one of the biggest things for me. You probably, I mean, I know I can hear myself on, like, the camera, so, like, I'm loud. Like, I'm probably.
I can hear you. I can hear you from the 200 level. Like, I could hear you from the 200 level.
People don't really think about it. Like, yeah, a lot of guys talk, but, like, I'm changing guys' minds out there kind of with the way I'm talking. So, like, when they don't know what to do with the puck. I think when you have all guys on our team have a focus on this too, is that communication on getting into a position where, you can relieve that guy from some pressure. So having that all over the ice, he does the same thing. That's kind of where that dynamic of all the breakouts kind of click, and we're always on the same page. Communication is one of those biggest things. Now it's not like we're just reading each other's minds out there. I mean, yes, you do have, you start to get a dynamic where what he's going to do with the puck a lot of times, but that communication has always been one of the biggest things for me. But then that just, like you said, the skating, taking away time and space. I think we both are pretty good at that, and that's one of the biggest things you need in the D zone. And then O zone, we just kind of let our, he lets his instincts take over. He's obviously very smooth up top and knows what plays to make. So I think that's what makes him so successful.
Let me ask you this: is there still some rats in the league when you're going back, trying to pretend you're D partner, asking for the puck, saying calling reverses?
There's a few of them. I don't run into it too much. I mean, yeah, there's been some. It's not really a problem though. There is a few guys that put themselves in a position to try to do that, but I hear him yelling, and then as soon as I hear him yelling, I'm yelling no just as loud. So my voice typically trumps anyone talking over me.
I love it. Oh my.
Nick, with the 5-on-5, like you guys are creating quite a few chances, but burying chances has been an issue. I think you guys have one of the lowest shooting percentages in the league. Just to help boost the offense. I noticed with you're one of the guys who seems to be very comfortable jumping into the play and kind of trying to augment that offense. But as a defensive group or decor, can you guys do a better job of jumping into rushes to try and help create more offense for this group?
Yeah, I think we can always keep that focus. I think that has been a focus of ours, whether or not it's shown at times. But that has been something we've talked about since pretty much day one is anytime there's a breakout, that weak side D is taking the strides up the ice to either be, a part of the breakout or join the rush as a second wave type attack. And when you have that, it's dangerous. You turn those, 3-on-2s into 4-on-2s and the 3-on-3s into 4-on-3s and stuff like that. So we can definitely always have a mentality of getting up in the play like that. It slips from time to time, like everything does throughout the season, but it's always a focus of ours. And we have the guys that can skate and get up the ice. So it's definitely something that we're going to continue to do.
Hey, Nick, what do you think this experience is going to do for a guy like Nick Mountain-Paulo? Because it's happened so quick for him. He's come here, he's played nice and stable, but then he gets a chance to go play at that level. Coming back, were you guys giving him the gears a little bit in practice? How do you think? I think
honestly, I think guys are just really excited when they heard about it before break. So everyone, what was going up to him, super excited, glad that he gets to even just get that type of experience. That's huge for a young defenseman and a young player. So not as much giving him crap or anything, just more so happy for him and for
yeah. He played well too. I don't know how much you watched Finland play, but I thought he handled himself really good. He got matched up against McDavid a couple times. I thought he played pretty well for a guy not being exposed to that often. Yeah,
no, I think I see the same thing when I watch him during our games. He's a good skater and competitive and works his butt off. So kind of a combination of that. When he's young, so he's obviously got a lot of growing to do in different aspects, just like we all did when we were young. He's not taking huge risks trying to do things that isn't really part of his game, but he's just really solid in the aspects that he knows makes him good. So he does that really well. And I remember when I was young in the league, and there's a lot of things that you're good at that got you there, but there's a lot of things that you'll learn with experience, and he'll continue to learn as he goes. And this is definitely a big step for him in that experience and learning.
Nick, it seems like every time you guys get healthy, you guys something happens. There's another injury that occurs. Obviously Shane Pinto and Josh Norris didn't practice with you guys today. You missed 5 games with an injury yourself, and you missed a couple practices leading up to Four Nations. How are you feeling these days?
I mean, pretty good. It's what's going on is kind of a day by day process, so we're just assessing it as we go. But I got a good skate today and felt really good, so that's kind of where I leave it at. I'm not looking too far in the future. Don't really care how I felt in the past. Just kind of going on how I feel today, and today felt good. So, but as far as the injury goes, all teams obviously go through injuries, some more so than others, and those 2 guys are big pieces to the puzzle that we're trying to build here. So not having them, it's not ideal, but at the same time, we got a lot of guys who are hungry want to step in the lineup and show what they can do in this league. So
have you been impressed with the guys from Belleville coming up? Like I was talking to like Matt Highmore about this the other day after practice, and like I'm just like, me personally, like whether it's Matt and Paolo, Highmore, or Levy Marilina, like just the guys who've been able to step up from Belleville have played at a high level this year.
Yeah, no, I've been extremely impressed with all the names you mentioned, and even more so with a couple other guys. And you need that. You know, you're not going to go through a year with no injuries. You know, you're going to need guys to step into some shoes that are pretty big, and those guys are seeing those opportunities and taking advantage of them. So I'm happy that they've done that so far. So we got to continue to do that though.
I wanted to ask you about Highmore in particular, Nick. He just seems to have a little bit of that Cousins factor inside of his game, eh? This just a little bit of rat tendencies. That you kind of like.
I didn't really know right away, but I start to see it as he kind of gets into his groove out there. But
yeah,
he's got an extremely high work ethic. You can see it on the ice, but he's not afraid to. You know, he's not the biggest guy, but he's not afraid to kind of get near the goalie after whistles and start bumping guys. And that's a part of a lot of guys' games, and I think it gives you a little bit of an edge for sure.
Absolutely. Well, listen, we won't keep you any longer, Nick. I know you got things to do. Appreciate you coming on. You got anything
before you
else?
go though? Is it okay if we talk to you about your parent project muscular dystrophy initiative?
Yeah, absolutely.
So like I'm a firefighter. Obviously, firefighters across Canada have like always supported and kind of organized stuff for muscular dystrophy. It's a great initiative. Maybe you could talk a little bit about what you're trying to do.
Yeah. So I mean, so what we raise money for right now, a lot of the research in the field it's kind of, it's all these companies trying to come out with different life-changing treatments, but their focus is kind of narrowed in on a smaller group of kids that are affected by this disease. And the charity that we're working with, and the reason we're raising money is because we want to raise money for research that goes towards the entire group as a collective. Because obviously no kid should be left behind without, this life-changing treatment. So a big focus of ours is that it's getting money together that goes towards these treatments that, right now is just a small percentage of the kids that are getting affected by it. We want to broaden that. We want to make sure every kid gets an opportunity to get some type of life-changing treatment. So that's what all this money goes to. And parent project, and they've been really great through this whole process. So that's a big focus of theirs as well. So that's why we love working with them.
And it's a pretty cool prize package that you guys are giving away. It's a suite for 14 people to the March 1st game against San Jose. There's a signed Senators jersey, 1 hour private ice time, and a private meet and greet with up to 20 people with a number of players, including yourself, Brady Tkachuk, Claude Giroux, Tim Stützle, Tom Shabbat, Shane Pinto. Like that's pretty cool. So I think we have a link available in our chat. Or just below the description of this video where people, and it's there on the screen right now. So
yeah, perfect. Yeah, and I think it'll be echoed through the Senators' social medias and stuff. So it should be a way to find it through all those avenues. But yeah, I think it launches today. The part of the fundraiser. So and then all leading all the way up to the game. So anyone who's interested, obviously that's a great package. The Senators really stepped up and upgraded. We were originally just planning on doing a meet and greet, but they. I stepped it up with the ice time and all the suites and everything. So they've been amazing through the process.
Yeah, that's an unbelievable initiative for you to get involved with Nick. I know some kids that suffer from muscular dystrophy, and it's a tough disease. So this is great that you guys are stepping up and doing this awesome stuff. Yeah, for sure. And it's right now is really. There's a lot of really exciting things in the field. Like I said, I feel is very close to making like a life-changing treatment that a lot of these companies are doing. But like I said, we want to make sure that once they do that, all these kids can get in, not just a small portion. So
that's fantastic. Great stuff, Nick.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining us. Good luck tomorrow against Montreal. It's a huge game. Looking forward to seeing how it turns out.
Yeah. Good luck. Guys. Good luck, Nick. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, guys. Have a good day. We'll see you.
You too.
Cheers. What a good dude, eh? Hey, what a good guy. Great shot, getting involved in the community.
Good quote. Like he's very good. So when I talked to him earlier in the preseason, I was like, you've got some good analytical numbers. I kind of came at it from like an analytical perspective, trying to say like, why do you think they targeted you as the opportunistic defenseman to put with Thomas Chabot? And he's great defensive numbers going back to like 2016, 2017 with Detroit, and he didn't want to talk about himself at all.
No,
it's like the focus of the article was going to be like on what he does well, and he didn't want to talk about himself at all. He's like, oh, it's a great 5-man defensive system that we've been playing, and it's just he just doesn't want to talk about himself, and it's he's a good quote otherwise, but he's like pulling teeth.
We had Steve Stais on the show a while ago, Travis Green, and the sentiment that keeps coming out from people when you ask about Nick Jensen is low maintenance, doesn't, like you said, doesn't really draw a lot of attention on himself, but just comes to the rink every day and is a great example for the other players. He's in great shape, works really hard, doesn't get hurt that much, and low maintenance guys like that with great work ethics are so important to have because the young guys watch him. And obviously too, he can play, which you can have a great work ethic and be a great guy, a great example, but you got to be able to play too. And man, he's been so good for Ottawa this year. He's been exactly what the doctors ordered. He's been a godsend for Thomas Chabot, and just love it. Just goes to show you, right? It's not always the sexy off-season signing. It's these moves that are sometimes under the radar when you really feel a need, and they really needed a right shot D that could skate and play. But I think people are surprised, Graham, at how well he skates, because he is a much better. Well, I watched him play, so I knew what they were getting. But people are pretty surprised at how well he skates and moves the pucks.
No, I've been really impressed. Even like I mentioned in the interview with him, like just his ability and willingness to jump up in the play. Like I know he plays with Thomas Chabot, but like rather than defer and let him do that all the time, like he's more than comfortable to go ahead and he just makes smart decisions with the puck. Like he doesn't make mistakes. Like you watch him play and do things, and whenever he has the puck on his stick, he rarely makes a bad decision. No,
and he's not afraid. A lot of guys will get it and get rid of it. Like he's not afraid to look guys off. He's not afraid to try escape moves. And I know those moves we're talking about in the ozone. You'll see him and Chabot switch sides, and you'll see Jensen all of a sudden come over and do a high exchange with the forward. And they do a lot of nice deception plays in the ozone. So now he's been really good. So it's been hopefully things continue to go this well for Nick and the rest of the boys.
Just want to say, Club EG, the golf season is approaching quickly. The show is presented to you by Club EG. Club EG is your best bet for an amazing golf season in and around Ottawa. One membership with Club EG gets you access to 60 amazing golf courses at member-only rates. Check out the courses online. We're giving away foursomes to some of the great courses around the area, like the Marshes, Equinel, Le Sorcier, Mountain Creek. Go to clubeg.golf. Plenty of different packages available for you. Right now, they have February early bird specials, so jump on that. They're also the guys who run awesome events like the Ottawa Sun Scramble, the Ottawa Citizen Golf Championship, the Commissionaires of Ottawa Open, a PGA Tour, America's event at Eagle Creek, tons of golf leagues, lots of great trips and more. They literally cater to every type of golfer. clubeg.golf.
Yeah, they're good people over there at Club EG, and so too are our good friends at BEI, Bonisher Excavating, always helping to shape the Ottawa Valley. You can give them a call at 613-432-1120 or online at bonisherexcavating.com. So when you're planning your next project, please consider BI for all your aggregate supply needs.
So big game in Ottawa tomorrow. Montreal is coming to town. Ottawa and Montreal both coming off 3-game losing streaks heading into the break. Yorkie, what do you expect? Like these teams haven't played each other since the second game of the season when Allmark got hurt, right? So like the Ottawa of that game is totally different from the Ottawa now. And I would say the same about Montreal, but Ottawa's obviously dealing with some injuries, right? Like we talked about Pinto and Norris missing.
They
change it up on defense, but it'll be interesting.
It's going to be difficult because Montreal plays very tight to the vest, kind of rope-a-dope hockey where they cave in around their net. They don't give you a lot. Everything's on the outside, and they wait for their chances. And then they've got some guys that can put the puck in the net, and they've been, beside from their little slump as of lately, they were playing some pretty good hockey for a while. So it's going to be no easy task for Ottawa, especially, man, I still can't believe no Norris, no Pinto. So they're going to need a lot from their bottom part of their lineup. Guys are going to have to step up. A guy like Ridley Gregg is going to be really important in tomorrow's game. He's going to have to, and I don't think there's no reason why I don't see it happening. Like he's a guy that rises to big game moments. He's going to have to be good. And Tim Stützle, I think it was crucial that he got a good rest over this Four Nations break. Like he was, we showed the picture of his face, how many times he'd been hit in the head. He looked like, he looked like a battered piece of meat at the butcher shop. So I think he's going to come back rested and rejuvenated. And for me, this is the type of game where it's got a Timmy Stützle written all over it, because he's got that game breaker ability, right? So he's going to have to be huge. Excited to see Allmark back in, but I think it's going to be a tight game. It's going to be a really tight game. So we got to get to our picks here, Graham, before we wrap up here. I know we've got some special guests coming up, don't we?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Introduction of my dog, the poorly trained Schnauzer.
Yeah. Guinness? Is it Guinness?
Guinness, named him after the beer. Yeah. Because he's all black. But who do you like tomorrow? Considering the circumstances, like I know, like so Travis Green said earlier in one of his availabilities, like Norris and Pinto have been skating. They haven't skated with the team this week though, so I feel like they're not playing.
Not if you haven't skated, you didn't skate with the team. I'd be shocked if they play. I hope they play, but I would. Man, do they grab pregame skate tomorrow and then play? Maybe. I think it'll be dependent on that, but I still like Ottawa in this game, and I like it for the reason because I just don't think Montreal, they have some great players. Like Caulfield's a great player. Suzuki's a great player. But I think this is a time for Stützle to really step up. He's rested. He's had a break. He's got that game breaker in him. He's going to have to be huge. I'm a little concerned about Brady Tkachuk after watching him play he's got to be exhausted, and he was playing hurt in that last game. So if Tkachuk is not at 100%, that's a concern. But I see Ottawa winning, and I see Tim Stützle having a big night. Claude Giroux, he needed some rest as well. And the good thing is all their D are healthy. Mm-hmm. So
that's huge. Getting that top four healthy and playing well at the same time is going to be huge.
And I like Ottawa's defense more than I like Montreal's, and I like Ottawa's goaltending more than I like. And Montreal's have been good, but Allmark should be back in the swing of things. Plus the D, plus you got your game breaker and stuff. So I'll take Ottawa for those reasons.
I'll take Ottawa too. I feel like Allmark's due to kind of like get back into things and play at a high level. He's had time to heal, and I think the whole experience of him going to play with his buddies and countrymen from Sweden will be huge. And he's come back healthy and rested. Like he didn't play very much over there, but he did get a chance to get some reps. Yeah, it was the ideal. Yep. It was the ideal situation for him. So I'm hoping he can get himself back to where he was showing himself early in the year when he was on that 7-game heater.
Yeah, no, it was a perfect storm, Graham. Got his reps in, got himself in better shape, should be ready, should be dialed in. I should say too, like talking to the guys at practice this week, the enthusiasm and recognition of where they are in the standings and what they have an opportunity to do is totally, they recognize it and they realize it. And like you talk to them about the importance of every games, and like whether it's on Michael Amadio smiling and nodding his head, and like he understands, Jake Batherson understands, Shane Pinto understands, like you add the experiences of Jake Sanderson, Brady Tkachuk to that mix, and I think this group has another level that they can get to. I think it's just a matter of them getting healthy and all together and playing at a high level at the same time. 100%. Let's get to our canine picks. I can't wait to see Guinness. Like, how are we doing this, Graham? Is this similar to you? He's just more poorly trained than Charlie. Yeah, Charlie. Unfortunately, I got up this morning and I'm like, "Where's Charlie?" Charlie's not here. So we're going to see my son play tonight. He plays at Elmira College. We're going to his game tonight, and then driving tomorrow to go up to Western U because my other son Jack's in the playoffs. See him play there Saturday. So Charlie's off at the dog sitters. So good on Guinness to fill in for Charlie.
All right, Guinness. Big game Saturday night between the Montreal Canadiens and Ottawa Senators. Both teams are coming off 3-game losing streaks entering the break. Who's going to win? He just went for it. He just knew. Come on, man. What are you doing?
Where's the send? Right. Was there a send sign out there? There was. Yeah, it was just the side. I'm just a terrible cameraman. Terrible.
He didn't even wait. He didn't even wait for me to finish. He's just
The poorly trained schnauzer, just massive Habs fan.
closet
God.
Habs.
Let's see what.
So
Wallace-
Montreal faces Ottawa as the Sens start up after Four Nations again. Who do you take? Is it going to be Montreal or the Ottawa Senators? You pick. I've even covered them up in case people don't think that Gertie picks. Go ahead, Gertie.
Read. Okay, moment of truth.
Well, let me see. Who did you take? Oh, Gertie, you took the Habs. Gertie.
See,
All your viewers are going to be disappointed now.
I don't really agree with this. The emblem turned over because the dog has to decide who she's picking. She has to look. You have to tell the dog, give the stats, say what's on the line. Like this is just a random
Hanging asterisk on that one.
Oh my God. Was Wally coming in from Singapore too? There's no way he's paying the money for that long distance call to talk to Gertie. There's no way. Oh, Larry Long Pockets. Oh my God, we might have to cancel the dog segment.
Oh, you're a man of principle. Man of principle.
Yeah.
Well, Yorkie, I know you got a long day of traveling, so we can wrap this up. But just want to thank Nick Jensen again for coming on.
He's great.
I encourage everyone to support his initiative. You can, again, Parent Project, Muscular Dystrophy, link for donations is available in the YouTube description. I'll circulate a link as well on Twitter and Blue Sky. So you guys can find that and pay attention to all the socials for coming in hot too, because we'll share it there as well. But thanks, Yorkie. Great show. Yeah. Great talking to you. Yeah.
Good week.
Enjoy the trip, and we'll talk again soon.
Yeah, it's going to be a 2 coffee drive, Graham. It'll be 2 coffee. Do 1 stop in Gananoque, then another stop. Although I can't stand the coffee in the States. Have you been over in the States lately?
It has been. Oh, it's pre-COVID.
Dunkin',
like 2019 probably.
Dunkin' Donuts coffee is shit, and it's and they charge you like $5.
Yeah,
there's my rant on bad coffee. We'll see you. We'll see you next week.
See you, Yorkie.
Take care.
Thanks for tuning in to Coming In Hot. If you enjoyed the show, hit that like button and be sure to subscribe to never miss an episode.